So one more segment, and that is the Peanut Gallery. And there was an article put out today by the Detroit News and then reported by our own W.G. Brady that the Tigers have kind of zeroed in on 3 candidates. They're heavily considering, to quote the article, and I will give you those 3 names. Josh Burns, who's a senior VP of baseball operations for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Matt Slater, who's a special assistant to the GM of player procurement for the St. Louis Cardinals. And a name you might know, Sam Menzin, who's the assistant GM, who for the past 10 years has worked in the analytics, operations, and personnel side for the Tigers. Let's talk about these guys, right? Josh Burns has had stints as the GM for the Arizona Diamondbacks and also the San Diego Padres. And there have been people that have been critical about his time there, but let's not remember that while he was with the Diamondbacks, he also drafted names like Max Scherzer and Paul Goldschmidt. He also has been working with Andrew Friedman, who, hopefully there's some type of osmosis of information going on there where it rubs off and he could build a team. Now, when initial reports broke of the GM search, Burns' name was at the top of the list for a lot of people. Matt Slater has worked with the Cardinals, okay, in player procurement. And let's not forget that he traded for Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. They just acquired Jordan Montgomery. And the Cardinals have been the model for consistency as an organization. The last time they were under 500 was 2007. And in that year, they won 78 games. Let's not forget that they also won the World Series the year prior to that, beating us. So this Slater is an intriguing name. The last one is Sam Menzin, who's the assistant GM right now with the Tigers. But I think that there's major red flags when we talk about him being inside the organization for the last 10 years in the analytics department, which criticism of that has come out very recently with the Robbie Grossman stuff in Atlanta. He's also worked in operation. He's also worked on the personnel side, which we know our personnel side is terrible. Now, how much of that is his fault? You can't really speculate, right? The guy's 31 years old. Would things be different if he were the one in charge? Potentially. But this is a major red flag. Major red flag for the amount of time that he's spent inside the organization in my mind. Because it seems like doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, which we know is insanity. So is Menzin? I hope that he's third on this list of 3, personally. I think that if I had a choice, I think my selection out of these 3, there are other names that I would throw in there, but out of these 3, my selection would be Slater from the Cardinals. Because of the track record that the Cardinals organization has. They're a good organization that develops talent and wins baseball games. And yeah, it helps to have people like a Adam Wainwright and a Yadier Molina, and it helps to have, an Albert Pujols. I get all of that, but let's not forget that this team, it takes 9 players to win a baseball game. And this organization, the Cardinals, has been a very good organization for a very long time. So if I had my choice, I would take Slater out of these 3. I think Burns would be second, and then Sam would be kind of the consolation prize if neither of those guys wanted the job. But it's going to be interesting, and in Lynn Henning's article, and it's linked in the description, he talked about, this month kind of being the month to make the move. It would be very interesting to see if the Tigers make that move before the end of the regular season. Kind of get the guy in there, let him see and evaluate the players for the last stretch, and then make the choices that he needs to make. Because there's a lot of roster decisions that this GM is going to make over the offseason. There could be some pieces that are, one, moved for different type of player procurement or cut just to, start fresh. Candelario being a prime example. And if Kreidler comes up and hits the ball, Candelario could definitely be out of a job next year. If Kreidler, gets hot here towards the end of the season, he's already playing what looks to be better defense than Jeimer Candelario. So it'll be very interesting to see the moves that the Tigers will make in this offseason once they hire the GM. And it seems like their choice is down to about 3 guys. And I'll be with you the whole way when they make those moves here on the corner